from the same old system. Well, KTN's Noah Otieno now reports on how the other presidents formed their cabinets and what Uhuru will be facing as he takes office.
This was a man who...
When Jomo Kenyatta formed his first cabinet, some critics blamed him for picking almost half his first team of ministers from the Mount Kenya region. But the team Kenyatta put together were to become some of the biggest and most memorable names in the history of governance in Kenya. Political historians now say he had a very clear goal in his choices.
The fundamental premise for Kenyatta's selection of cabinet was, first of all, loyalty. And most of the people he chose, especially from 1963, then in 1969, 1974, were people who were fiercely loyal to him. And then secondly, the second criteria was that he made sure that that in terms of proportionality, the people that he selected, the majority of them came from the Mount Kenya region. The third thing that Kenyatta looked for was basically the question of competence. Although some of those people came from Mount Kenya, there is very little complaint that they were very competent in their work. So you would see that some of the first ministers, James Gishuru, for example, Biu Koinange, these are the first people in the cabinet who served him, and they did their work with a lot of dedication and professionalism.
Kenyatta's style of choosing and reorganizing his cabinet followed almost the same pattern which President Daniel Moi adapted with some modifications after he took over the reins of power in 1978. It has now become evident that Moi's first concern was the consolidation of power.
There were so many people within the Moi administration who are fiercely loyal. Some of them came from his community, but in terms of competence, they didn't seem like they commanded that competence. And that's why that you see that in terms of performance in public service, there was a better professionalism under Jomo Kenyatta than there was in Moi's administration.
Then came Mwai Kibaki in 2002 with his own style of selecting cabinet members. Although his first cabinet drew fire from some of his NARC-allied members, Kibaki stuck to his choices.
The cabinet that Kibaki chose had elements who really had the competence, but they were politically oversensitive, and most of them were not necessarily interested in doing the job, but making noise because they now knew that they had defeated Moi.
And now the fourth president, Uhuru Kenyatta, is coming in with his own debts to pay and coalition agreements to honor. He is expected to strike a balance between rewarding the parties that helped him ascend to power and putting together a team that will deliver on the promises he made in his manifesto.
He must first of all look for competence. And my advice to our new president is that he should not use anybody, especially in the cabinet, who has served Kibaki, because they have a way of doing things and they are going to bring him down.
Uhuru's choice of cabinet members, unlike the first three presidents, will be subject to approval by Parliament. Noah Otieno.